normally say, hey everybody, welcome to another edition of His Turn, Her Turn, but we're in Canada, so I'll say, hey everybody, welcome to another edition of His Turn, Her Turn. I would be Paul Bryan.
Check your schedule.
I will do that here at the Sentry. Yes. And along with me, of course, Lauren Fix, the car coach.
Hello everyone. Yeah, we are very lucky to be here in British Columbia, Vancouver, Canada. It is spectacular. We are here at Predator Ridge, which is a golf course, inside the beautiful glass fountain, I believe.
I don't know what the heck you'd call it. I would call it expensive is what I would call it.
Yeah, this is a very beautiful spa.
But very profitable for the guy that gets to clean the glass.
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
He's got the job.
He had a good time. We spent a couple hundred miles driving the brand new Genesis G90.
Yeah, and there's also the G80, which is very similar. But we're going to go over the G90 today and talk about why it's important, because I think the one thing that when you think luxury, you think German. You think BMW, Mercedes, Audi, and then maybe you'll say, okay, well, Lexus and Cadillac
Infiniti.
and Infiniti and Acura. So there's a lot of brands that are luxury, but when you're adding a new brand to this lineup, such as was Hyundai, is now Genesis, an all new brand. Not we're sharing technology, now we're sharing platforms. This is all new inside, outside, upside down. But the key thing that they really hit, I think, was what is luxury?
Well,
and that's really important to this brand.
And in these days, luxury has to mean a couple of different things. Number one, luxury, there's luxury hardware, the car.
There's luxury watches.
There's
luxury jewelry.
Well, that's true. I mean, I don't need this watch to tell me what time it is.
But you want it.
But I wanted this watch.
Right. Well, that's how I feel about jewelry.
Exactly.
Purses.
And that's exactly what you're talking about here with the new Genesis as a new luxury brand. As you would look at a luxury brand of Rolex,
right,
or a clothing line, or a jewelry line,
or even food, for that matter.
Whatever. Certainly. From a hardware standpoint, this is an astoundingly capable vehicle.
And it's beautiful. It has beautiful aesthetics.
Yeah, I mean, it's well beyond capable. It will make a great mark in this category. It's got nothing to apologize for. Mm-hmm. Why don't we go ahead and drive the car and talk about the hardware portion of luxury? Because
the luxury is not just outside the car, it's inside the car where you live.
Yeah. Let's do that, and then we'll join you after our drive, okay? You know that we've come to Canada to drive the new Genesis G90. And because we are in Canada, I'm only going to give you 90% of what we normally would do because of the exchange. What? I got to tell you that I've booked about 60 miles in the car so far. What I learned in the first 30 miles of driving this car is that I wanted to drive 50 more. There's a lot of layers to the onion going on here. When you first approach the car, you're struck by really clean styling and some nice applications of exterior work. But where the car really paid off for me, I don't know how many times we've said this, I'm built for comfort and she's built for speed. This is probably more indicative or demonstrative of that than the average car that we work with. If you were to put blindfolders on me or remove every inkling of brand identity from the inside of the car, and then you put a 45 to my head and said, what are you driving?
A 45? It takes a 45 for you to make a decision?
It's the single tap theory. If you were to go ahead and ask me what I was driving, I would say, well, clearly this is German. And boy, would I be wrong. But I got to tell you, all of the touch points from the first 800 feet that I drove this car, and I even made this comment when I first got into it, when I first touched the steering wheel, it had a real quality sense to it. I just wanted to feel it more. Then you go on to the other tactile points in the car. All of the controls are really set up extremely well. The displays on the dashboard are spectacular. There's not only a huge display in the IP in front of you, but the nav system over here I know that I've watched movies in theaters that are smaller than this screen. It's a beautiful screen that will actually at some point even split up. It's big enough to split into 3 different views of what's going on around the car. All of the electronic gizmonics that it sometimes, you know from watching me, drive me nuts when I'm driving. It's not that aggressive, which I like. And not since I'm 16 years old have I wanted to get in the back seat of a car more than I do in this one. We'll get to that in just a bit.
Not too often does a new luxury brand come on the marketplace. I mean, the last one we saw is Tesla, which I don't even consider in the mix. But when you think Acura came on board, and Lexus, and Infiniti, and now we have Genesis. You know, I come in with a mindset of, all right, it's luxury, and I look at the outside, and you kind of judge a book by its cover. Number one, awesome looking wheels, beautiful rims. I like the rear perspective of it. Almost gave me personally a Bentley flavor from the back. It has, you know, with the wings on the Genesis logo. Paul thinks it's Jaguar, but it still gives you that luxury feel, that design. The front is beautiful. I mean, so when you open the door and you step inside, again, you're expecting that continuation of luxury, and I think they accomplished that. Not just in the look and the color combinations and the real wood and the real leather, but when you sit in a seat, of course, number one, there's lumbar on both sides. Double thumbs up. Big on that. Paul knows I was going to bitch about it.
Is that important to you?
It is important to me. I address it every time.
Noticed.
It's a number one thing. Heated seats, air-conditioned seats, and then you adjust the seat and the mirrors and everything, and the head-up display. That's the engine. Goes pretty well. 8-speed transmission, so it's going to have pretty good fuel economy. I'm a little heavier footed than Paul, and I'm also driving in sport mode on the highway and some city, and I'm pulling around 21. They're saying 24 on the highway. So it's pretty good. It's doing what it says, which is not typical. Most manufacturers will say, oh, here's the fuel economy numbers, and they're not even accurate. As far as, I love the materials. They're soft. There is a full glass roof. We have the smaller roof in the option that we're driving. There's all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive, so there's no one in the country who can say, well, I like it, but it doesn't come this way. It comes any way you want it. As far as handling and comfort and ride, that checks all the boxes, to steal one of Paul's phrases. I like the visibility, love the seating comfort, great safety, lots of goodies, love how classy it is inside. I mean, it's got everything from, you know, the clock and the details and the knurled knobs, and every single detail seems to have been addressed. I mean, as I go through a vehicle, we say, find something negative. Okay, there's no massaging seats available, but really, is that a deal changer? No, probably not. But what is something that would make you want to buy this car? The fact that there's 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Hyundai has great warranty. It includes a valet service. I mean, really, who doesn't want to have someone pick up the car from your shop or your home and deliver it back to you with an oil change or whatever maintenance it needs? That is a major plus. There's roadside service included. I mean, I think they did a great job. They really thought about it. They had good designers. I mean, literally, they took the best of the best and said, let's sit down and build what customers want. And I like that. Now, going head-to-head with Mercedes and BMW and Audi, there's slightly different areas with Lexus and Infiniti and, you know, and Cadillac on the CT6. Each of them have their own nuances, which give them their own personality. But I think they need to be aware that Genesis is here because it's going to take away a lot of their customers, and they have great loyalty with their brand. And if you're stepping up within the Hyundai line and you see what Genesis has to offer, I think they did a good job. And adding another luxury line to this industry is a challenge, but I think they've met the challenge. So it's rare, but you and I don't typically do reviews of the back seat because the back seat's a back seat.
And I don't want to get punched by your husband.
Or me.
That would be oh yeah, that's even worse than Paul.
Yeah.
But I still thought that it was worthwhile that we come back here because this is certainly part of the deal. While most of everything is done from the driver's seat, and we like to talk about driver and passenger.
Right.
It's a 4-place luxury vehicle. It's not a 5-place.
There's no fifth seat belt, I guess.
No, that's because you got this big honking console.
Yeah, but
here.
look what's on this console.
I know. It's very, very cool.
Yeah. It shows your outside temperature. You've got your air conditioning, heating controls, heated seats. Of course, the rear visor.
Yeah, the rear visor we put up just because the shot was better.
And it's also 98 degrees outside.
Yeah, we may be crazy. We're not stupid.
Right, and of course you've got your sound system, and it's got everything you need from satellite, whatever you want in the back seat. 2 pockets here. I mean, this is nice. And of course, there is your own air controls as well as 2 power outlets. And if you're in the passenger side, which typically a vehicle like this would be for executive sedans.
Yeah, and you know what? The executive part of this is kind of cool because on the sides of the front seats, we'll show this, on the sides of the front seats are controls for somebody in the back to be able to adjust the tilt of the front seats.
Or move it forward if you're tall or you need extra room.
But if you're riding in the back and you're the boss, there's also redundancy here.
Right.
Because you can move the seat forward and backward from here.
Well, you would need that in an executive sedan. Or if your kids kick the back of your seat and it drives you nuts.
I thought that's what the trunk was for.
Oh, okay.
What?
That's him. My kids,
no, that's a
when
joke.
they were younger.
It's a joke.
When they were younger, they used to kick the back, especially if they're in car seats.
It's a joke.
We
We
know
don't
it's a
put
joke.
kids in the trunk.
He's just being silly.
Because we'd get caught.
Right.
So as I said, this car has nothing to apologize for in terms of
Absolutely not.
content, performance. Frankly, as long as we mention performance, 2 different engines available, the twin-turbo V6 and the V8.
V8, that's my choice.
I understand that you would.
Yes.
Because she's a V8 girl. I got to tell you something. The difference in power is only about 20-25 horsepower.
A little bit of torque.
And 20-25 pounds-foot of torque. It's not that much.
But I do like the all-wheel drive over the rear-wheel drive. That's just a personal choice. I think it gives you better contact with the road and better handling.
And we're both northern tier people, so that makes a whole lot more sense.
I would do all-wheel drive no matter where you live. I think there's nothing better than having full contact with the road and full control, and you get that with all-wheel drive. You know, we were talking, what would you add to this car? What's missing? What could you possibly add? And the only thing I could think of was a panoramic sunroof, because when you're looking at the competitors, which are the Germans and the luxury Japanese line, as well as, the Americans, and of course you've got to include Lincoln on that. I'd like to see a panoramic glass roof, and it'd be nice to have massaging seats, because you see that in the CT6 and in the Audi and the BMW and the Mercedes.
That's not a big deal for me.
A little bit of luxury.
Well, okay, I mean, you really dig that. That's not going to be a deal breaker for me one way or the other. I mean, if they're there, great. I love them. They're fine. So but we get into, it's almost like going to the Mercedes thing where you get to, dial in your scent that you want to put in there.
That's useless
and
to me.
thank God no millennials can afford those cars because, they load up that thing with Axe.
Oh, yeah.
And, hey, my car smells like Axe. It's really good. Here, excuse me while I wax my mustache and have a craft beer.
What would you add to this car that it doesn't have?
My butt in the seat. This is a darn nice car.
It is.
We can't go through it because it would take an hour to go through it. But there's a whole chart that we'll post down here below that's got all of the things on this car that are standard that you're going to have to buy as options on all of the competitive sets.
And that pulls you over $100,000 in the German cars easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
You're going to buy an A8 and you start putting all these goodies on and suddenly you're like, whoa, that's the price?
That's a lot of Deutschmarks,
That's a lot of Deutschmarks, yes. But, I think the key thing is Genesis is a new brand. And if you're thinking about a luxury, mid-sized price sedan, and you're really torn on all the options, absolutely, without any question in my mind, you need to take this for a test drive before you make a decision. I think you're going to find the insurance to be less and the price to be right in the sweet spot where you're like, I love this.
So anyway, things are getting busy around here, and you and I have a spa appointment.
Yes, it's part of the fun of being here.
Why not?
Why not?
I'm not sure that the good Lord hangs out in British Columbia all the time, but I think when he comes to British Columbia, this is where he stays.
Why not?
So
this place is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and do that. If you would, make sure that you subscribe to our page right up here. You'll see the little subscribe button
Like
if you
it
would.
and share it too, please.
Tell your friends, tell your kids, tell the relatives if you would.
Post it on your social media. We do appreciate that.
Do all that, and we will see you from wherever in the heck we see you from next.
So where can we find you if we want to follow you on social media, Mr. Brian?
I tweet at The Paul Bryan, and you can find me at thepaulbryan.com as well.
Also at The Motor Minute and our Facebook fan page, His Turn, Her Turn. You can follow me at Lauren Fix. I also tweet under at car_smarts and at We Drove What. And follow me at laurenfix.com, all forms of social media, breaking news, and of course the His Turn, Her Turn.
And some broken news too. We'll do that as well.
Yes. Please leave your comments below, especially if you take it for a drive. If you've owned Hyundai products and you're looking to step up into a luxury vehicle, you've taken one for a test drive, you've had a great in-dealer or maybe not so great in-dealer experience. We want to hear from everybody.
Odds are it's been a good deal for you, though.
I have a feeling it's been a good deal because I haven't heard anything bad.
From Western Canada, time for us to say goodbye to everybody.
Let's
Thank
go
you
get
so
some
much for
oysters.
joining us. Sign me up.
All right.
Let's
Sounds
go.
good.
Thank
you.
Thank you, everybody.
Now we're here in Canada, and I'm trying not to get a ticket, but I had to take it up to the 6-figure range and see how it handled.
I want to know about this.
What?
This 6-figure speed limit that we just broke. You went 100,000 miles per hour. You
did I say 6 figures?
Fast woman.
I didn't say 6, did I?
You did. You said.
Okay. Let me correct that.
Didn't she? I believe she may have. Okay. Yeah. She did. She did. She did.
All right. Okay, I made a mistake. So I'll redo that.
No, I got a big red circle around today's date.
She just did.
Oh, it says consider taking a break. So you made me look away from the gauges. Okay.
Lift up the coffee mug.
All right.